All right, let me actually get set up. Let me move my mic over into a better place. That intro did not go how I want today because I had to change my base canvas resolution to be able to play some games tonight. That was a hassle. I spent probably the last 20 minutes trying to figure out how to properly stream games. I thought it was going to be super easy. I thought my computer was powerful enough, which it is, but it is not. It's not as powerful as I thought, I guess. I definitely had a lot of trouble with that. As usual, gonna wait and give people a few minutes to kind of get hopped on or get logged on. But tonight, we're just gonna be talking about some of the dark sides of engineering, of all aspects of the tech industry, really. Not even just the engineering aspects of it, but that's gonna be burnout, imposter syndrome, and the Dunning-Kruger effect. We'll kind of have an open conversation about it. Talk about how you can overcome it, how you can try to do your best to avoid it. They're all kind of tough things to go through, and it will happen to you over your career. But if we can talk about tonight what to expect, you'll be better equipped to get running with those. But let's get some music going. Cool. So let me spend a little time getting set up here because this is a first for me. But I thought this would be a fun way to do it. We're talking about how to deal with burnout and things like that. So it feels only fitting to take some time to do something else on the stream, to have a little fun, to kind of relax. You guys can watch me be terrible at a game. I'm going to be terrible at everything that I play. Good evening, Instinct God Squad. Play a couple games, probably Apex and Overwatch. I used to be good at Overwatch, but I don't really have time to play as much as I would like to anymore. I'm not good at Apex, but I do have a good time playing it. Never really gotten to Fortnite or any of the other ones. So we'll be playing that, but maybe let's pull up some stuff really quick. Tonight will also be a Q&A as well. Ask whatever questions you want to ask as we're going through these discussions. I don't think these talks are going to take these topics are going to take too long to cover. So any questions you have again about the tech industry or about what we're doing on this channel and what what the plans are, what I'm going to be going over, definitely ask away. I'll try to answer all the questions that come up. Let's see if definitely let me know if stuff is not things are blurry or something. Let me know. I'm gonna do my best to do this. There we go. Launching. We'll start with this. This is the game that I'm by far the worst at. What time is it? Cool, 7:36. So let's start the conversation. This channel promotes, learning all about the tech industry, learning different aspects of the tech industry, whether that be, software engineering, systems administration, DevOps, network engineering, UX, UI, maybe Scrum mastering as well. A lot of the things to be able to deliver a digital product, I guess, in the current marketplace. I push that. I want to give people the tools and the resources to be able to get good at those things, and to really, change their lives, using technology. But everything is not all good about it. We talk on here, we talk a lot about pay, we talk about the freedom it gives you, but there's also tons of pressure in the tech industry that kind of leads to some bad stuff. And the first one being burnout. So if you're not familiar with what burnout is, I'm gonna start a game right now. I'm probably not going to be very good at playing and talking. I'm already not good at playing, so this should be fun. But burnout, it's exactly what it sounds like. You grind lots of hours to learn something. You spend a lot of hours practicing something. I know I've had jobs. You go work an 8-hour shift. You deal with the people at your job. You deal with the stresses of your job, solving problems. That's tolling on your brain. The same way that if you spent all of your day, exercising, it will be very tolling on your body. And then when you get off of work, you may be trying to get a better job. So you go to Starbucks, or you come home and you watch my stream, or you open up a tutorial, or open up some new. You go to Team Treehouse or something, and you go through some exercises there, and you spend the whole day doing this stuff, and eventually your brain will give out. It happens faster than you think. It's super exciting when you're learning and you're making progress. But when you're having to exercise your mind to solve lots of problems nonstop, it can be bad. And one of the biggest problems I see, especially in the tech industry, is the lack of focus on mental health. There's a lot of discussions around mental health going on right now, and it's becoming more to the forefront. Let's see what I'm going to choose here. Let's go with. Someone stole my person here. Let me. Oh no, that's me. It chose it for me. Cool. But when you are doing these things every day, you're solving these problems every day. It can be tolling. Sometimes you don't receive the gratitude that you may want. Sometimes people are rubbing you the wrong way. And again, sometimes it's just an overload. Same way you got to take care of your body is the same exact way you have to take care of your mind. You can't train every day. You can't work out every day. You couldn't do leg day every day. You can't do arms day every day. And the same thing kind of goes with, your brain. You've got to take that time to find other things that you enjoy. You got to take time to spend time with your family, spend outdoors. You can't spend all of your time doing this stuff. It's easy to fall in that trap. I think most people fall into that trap very fast. You start making progress on something, and that's like, we're going to talk about that as well when we get into the Dunning-Kruger effect. But you start learning something, and you start getting good at it, and you want to do it more and more, and you start to see the money you can make, and you start to see the value that you provide, and you're able to solve better problems, and that for a lot of people, that motivates you to do more and more and more. And I think this is one of the this is something big that happens in the tech industry. I mean, in Silicon Valley in particular. Just the pressure and the attitude and the will to always want to have to do more for your employer. And I think I just read an article, and maybe I'll see if I can find it in a little bit on Silicon Valley actually being bad for your health. Is working in Silicon Valley bad for your health? And the same way, I think there's a misconception for people who are rich and who have a lot of money, that they should be happy, or there's no reason why they shouldn't be happy. But that's just not always the case. I actually spent a period of time, so people who know me know this, but I had a weird run-in with E-ZPass. So I live in Maryland. The toll system here is called E-ZPass. I used to work down in Virginia. I used to drive down from Baltimore to Northern Virginia for work, and so that's already tolling in itself. But I had some issues with an old transponder, and I actually got sued by E-ZPass. And I owed them a lot of money, which was super unfortunate. This was right when I started working. This is like my very first big boy job, I guess. I wasn't making very much money. I was making like 37 or 38. I'm gonna die. I was making like 37 or 38 $1,000 a year, and I was driving from Baltimore all the way to Virginia for that. But E-ZPass sued me for tens of thousands of dollars, and so I got a second job. I actually left that job, came back up to Baltimore. I got two jobs, and it was great. I went from making $38,000 to, with both jobs, around $90,000. And I worked hard. There were two full-time jobs. One was Tuesday through Saturday, I think. I think my shift was from, maybe 3 in the afternoon to about midnight, or somewhere 3 until wherever 8 hours is from there. And then I worked the other one overnights, actually. And what I would do is I would leave that one, rush to the other one. And I would work that, and I would come home and I would sleep for a few hours. And it was great. I was making good money. I was actually learning a fair amount there, but probably 6 or 7 months in. It only took me about 7 months to get enough money to pay off, the thing that I had going on with Easy Pass. But when I was finished with that, I quit one of the jobs. The other one actually switched me to weekends, overnight. So I only worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I stayed stagnant for about 8 months after that. I refused to learn anything. I was tired. I refused to learn anything. I wasn't motivated to get better at all. 2 full-time jobs. I wouldn't advise it for anyone unless, your life depends upon it, unless you got kids or something who are going to starve, if you don't have it. But it was miserable. I highly doubt I would ever go back to doing it again, unless they were two super sweet jobs that were pretty easy. I'd have to work them out pretty well. But because of that, I really think my career was stunted for 8 months. I think I spent 8 months, of being useless. I really didn't get better at all. I had no drive to do anything just because I had spent so much time already in that short amount of time. And I was really burnt out, and I actually watched a video on YouTube or something. And it was like about when this happens, what you can do and how do you get over it. And I don't know, for me, it was just one, realizing that I wasn't motivated to get any better. And one of the biggest reasons why, burnout's bad, and it's okay to not get better sometimes, but in the tech industry in particular, you can't do that for 8 months. 8 months, you may become obsolete. Depending on the stuff you're doing, you may not be, it may be very difficult for you to get another job because of the speed in which tech moves. It's very tough. But yeah, I definitely understand that. It's a tough position to be in. Again, I would never do it again if I didn't absolutely have to. But it's something to be super cognizant of, and making sure you're not spending too many of your hours, doing this stuff if you don't have to as well. Let me see if I can kill this person. I don't have any. No. Hold on. All right, we got a kill. We're doing pretty good. All right, there we go. So this is harder than I thought, but I think I can do it. I think I can talk about this and play. Oh, I'm dead. But yeah, you don't want to. You want to take all necessary precautions. So, like I said, you even if you're working 2 jobs, definitely take some time to figure out how you can, go spend some time outside the park or something. Take whatever little bit of extra time you have, spend it away from the computer. I know it's weird for me to say because I'm streaming to you right now from the computer, and I spend a lot of my days, leaving work, coding or doing things and coming back straight to the computer to do more things. But I do find a lot of time to do some of the things that I love. So I'm huge into motorsports. So I love cars. No matter what, almost no matter what, especially if the weather's okay. I go out for drives every Sunday morning. I explore the back roads of Maryland. I've been up in the PA, 2-hour road trips, with no real destination. Just kind of driving back roads. I take my dog to the park, spend some time there. Me and my wife, we love TV shows and movies, especially movies. So we do that a lot. But that's kind of tough to toe the line, of still being able to be productive, but also do those things you enjoy. But I think sometimes you may listen to people like Gary Vee or all these other motivational speakers. Gary Vee being one of the better ones. But they'll talk about the grind. They'll talk about grinding. But it's dead. That can be deadly. That can shut you down. It's so counterintuitive to be on the grind all the time. I think it's important as people trying to get into engineering, people trying to keep up with all this changing technology, and really trying to understand, sometimes very complex topics. It is important to do these other things. Being outside in the sun, I think that's the thing that's been most effective for me. I actually went out and got a bike last year. I was like, all right, I'm gonna start mountain biking. I used to love mountain biking, and I would go every day before work. I would go out on my mountain bike. Unfortunately, it got stolen, and I just haven't got another one yet. But it's so nice to be able to do that. and like just do something completely different. So I don't know. Burnout happens again in every industry. We'll talk about that one first because I think that's the one that happens to most people, no matter what level you're at. I think the other two things that we're going to talk about kind of they relate to the level that you're at in the industry, the amount of experience and things like that you have. But burnout applies across the board, and I think it can particularly come in to beginners, people trying to get into the industry, because you're just constantly trying to make that progress, and then on top of the burnout, it can feel even worse when you're burnt out and you feel like you're not actually making progress. You're doing things, but you're not actually understanding. It can be incredibly discouraging. And I would be honest about it. I would be honest about it with your employer, with your managers, and be realistic about the things that you can do, that you can't do. Everybody wants to be gung ho to show that they're valuable. You can be the most valuable person in the world for 6 months, and then get fired after 8 months because you couldn't do any work for 2 months. You couldn't get your mind right to do so. So again, mental health, equally, if not more important than your physical health, to be 100% honest with you, and making sure that's good. Affects your family life, all that stuff. So yeah, just take care of yourself in that aspect. A lot of basics for that one. A lot of self-care. Find things that you enjoy, and make sure you take the time to do those things. And moving on to, what was the other topic? We have the imposter syndrome and Dunning-Kruger effect. So imposter syndrome, most people probably haven't heard Dunning-Kruger, so we'll do that last. But imposter syndrome, I think a lot of people have heard of imposter syndrome as well, and kind of understand what that is. It mostly applies to probably mid-level, junior to mid-level, people in the industry. So junior to mid-level devs, as you're learning something, you're fortunate enough to work hard enough to get a job in the industry, and you get on a team and now you're working, and you don't quite feel like you should be there, and I think this is one of those unfortunate things that comes out of, I think, all of the movies about, like The Matrix and stuff about tech, where everyone thinks everyone's out here is so amazing and so great, and that you only know as much as you know, and you kind of fear all the things you don't know, and what ends up happening is, because you don't know what you don't know, you get kind of worried about your abilities and your I guess worthiness of being at a job site or on a team, which is incredibly unfortunate, and a lot can happen from that. So it has it can have a lot of the side effects of being burnt out, and it can be super discouraging as well. And I guess one of the issues with it is I think that's one of those things that you can't get to go. It's very difficult to get to go away on your own. That guy was shooting. I thought we had somebody. It's very difficult to get that feeling to go away on your own. I think what has to happen is you spend time doing some self-evaluation and figuring out, oh man, I won't be able to kill anybody like this. I'm gonna switch to Overwatch because I'm better at it. Let's see if I can at least get 1 or 2 kills. But you don't think you're good enough, and then you spend extra time trying to learn more. Then you get burnt out during your imposter syndrome phase, which is super. It's crazy. I've had this happen to me before, but what's important to kind of know, and I think this is something that most people have to come up with on their own. So hopefully, me sharing this with you, will help you understand it. Some people don't really think about it until they actually feel it, but most engineers aren't that good. There aren't that many people who are really amazing or really all that good. A lot of the people you work with, you will come across ones who are great, but generally, in my experience at least, I don't work at a Facebook or Google or anything like that, but in my experience, most people are just are solid, and have just really spent time in the industry, spent time learning. They're not crazy smart. They're not, savants in the industry. They've done their time. They've basically paid their dues, and they've picked up what they could along the way. And then they also learned that everyone doesn't know everything, and that everyone's not amazing, and that you can do what you can do. And that you're probably better than you think you are. A lot of people don't give themselves enough credit. You're always your own, worst enemy in this regards. Always your own worst critic. And like that would probably be the biggest thing, is just knowing that like it's okay to not to know everything. Like I would honestly say I spend a majority of my time, having to figure things out. Like when I'll get tasks and things, I'm like, hey, I have no idea what to do right now. But I take what I, have learned from my experience, and I do my best to apply that accordingly. But it's a hard place to come out of, again, especially because it can be compounded on top of the burnout, and trying to catch up and trying to become that person that you think you should be. You're trying to emulate the people you work with, emulate the people you've seen on YouTube and things like that. You're trying to get up to that same level. You can learn all of the syntax you want. You can learn all of the concepts you want. But putting them into practice is actually where you get the most out of it. That's when you learn all the little stuff. When you hear an engineer, working on something, and they just out of nowhere you're having a problem. They're like, "Oh yeah, I think if we just do this, it'll fix it." And you're like, "Oh, how did they know that?" It is purely from experience. It's purely because they did something very similar before. And they had the same problems you had, and they spent 2 days looking for the answer, and then they were able to share that with you. That's all it is. And you'll come across the few who are really, really good, and who are super impressive, and those are the people you use as your idols and your mentors, and you use them to help you learn all the things that you want to know, and as a model to get to the level that you want to be at. But don't use that as I'm not there, I'm not very good attitude. And again, it's once you got it, it's so hard to get out of. So hopefully I can preempt all of that by telling you I'm sure you're good. You got the job. I'm sure you're worthy. But continue to learn. Don't take that as, hey, I'm good. Take it as, all right, I got this job. They hired me to do a thing. I'm going to do my best to make them happy and to do my job, but I'm also going to take this time to learn a ton about the things that I want to learn about, and I want to be the best engineer that I can be. And again, I think this is something that mostly I don't see this too much with senior engineers, because I think they've kind of gone through the onslaught, or the crucible, since this is supposed to be Crucible Night per se, of feeling that way. Have kind of come out on the other side okay, but I think unfortunately, I'm gonna die. I think unfortunately a lot of people don't come out on the other end okay, and those are the people who are finding their way into the industry, but drop out because things get kind of tough, and it gets kind of scary. Or the people who are in the industry who leave to go find other jobs that are less stressful, because again, they felt like they had put in a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of time, and still weren't enough for what the industry wants, or not enough for what their organization needed, and that's what's called imposter syndrome. It's feeling like you somehow got in, and somehow you got this position, and you don't deserve it, and it's a terrible thing. But along with, let's see, since I'm doing an awful job at doing anything in these games, I want to show you this quick infographic leading into this. Is the Dunning-Kruger effect, and I'll hop back in. And this is a sweet little thing that I learned about it not too long ago, actually. But it talks about what happens when you start to learn something. And again, this happens. Not only does this happen kind of as a whole in the industry, but I think it also happens as you learn every new technology. And again, this is coming from someone who's a DevOps engineer, so tooling is kind of big. Learning the different tools is kind of big. So this happens to me, I think, a lot. But it's up on the left is your confidence, on the right is your experience, and it's basically saying when you first start something, when you have no confidence and no experience, everything's down here. You got no confidence, you got no experience, and as you get a little bit of experience, your confidence shoots way up, and you feel really proud of yourself, and you feel really secure in the things that you're doing, and you think you know it. It's like, I've made this much progress. I think I understand it. I'm doing great. And you feel really good about it, and your confidence goes to 100. But you've got only this much experience. It's a little bit of experience right here. After which you start to get more experience, and things start to happen, and you start to quickly notice that I don't know as much as I thought about this, or this is much deeper than I thought it was, and your confidence drops. And again, this is also the period, I think, from here to here is the period where you're susceptible to that imposter syndrome, and it's like, I know stuff. But the more and more I know about it, the less and less I realize that I know, and there's so much more that I need to know. And as time goes on, your experience gets higher and higher, and your confidence starts to go back up, and you start to feel better about the things that you know, and you start to become confident in the things that you know. And this happens out of self-awareness. That's perfect. People do need to be self-aware. And that's I think that's the main overarching goal of everything that I'm talking about tonight is that self-awareness and figuring out how to mitigate things earlier. But so that Dunning-Kruger effect again goes hand in hand with the imposter syndrome. And what happens when that happens is that's when you usually also make mistakes. That's when I make mistakes. That's when you're a little too gung-ho about the things that you're doing, or things that you could be doing. And then when you get to that dip, when you get to that valley that we had in there, hold on, let me go heal this Reinhardt over here. I need to get out of here. Once you get in that valley, you're susceptible to not only burnout, but also to wait. Can I do this? To that imposter syndrome, as well. And let me see if I can find that article real quick about Silicon Valley, because I thought it was really important. And I think the show Silicon Valley, if no one's ever seen it, it's a great comedy. It's really funny, but it's also kind of a good show about the pressures of what goes on. And again, I live in Maryland, and the Maryland market is nothing like. It's absolutely nothing like Silicon Valley. The pressure is not nearly as high, but I'll be honest. I also feel it too. In a lot of the things that I do. The place I work now is excellent, and I don't feel it here at all. Maybe sometimes when we're on a tight deadline or something, but I'll feel a little bit of pressure, but that's normal. I think pressure is not a bad thing. Pressure definitely pushes you. Pressure definitely makes you better, but just like anything else, you've got to be it's gonna kill here. You've got to be conscious about what's going on. There we go. You've got to be self-aware about the things going on and how you can mitigate feeling badly. I think one of the other things that contributes to this stuff is finding a place. So when you go in your interviews for this stuff, so I am a senior level engineer in my job. I'm actually the technical lead for my team, and that's a new title for me. This happened last month, but I think one of the other hold on, let me see if I can get this kill. No, okay. I'm a senior level engineer at my job. I'm a technical lead. But I think one of the things that can contribute to this, I've worked at a lot of places actually, and is poor engineering coworkers. If you work at a place where your senior level engineers are assholes, for lack of a better word, that can be a huge contributing factor to feeling a lot of these things. I worked at places where I got zero help from more senior engineers, or I had junior engineers or people who may not be junior, who maybe like mid-level, but who were very like overly confident in themselves, make me feel like I was less than. And I don't know. Again, it's one of those things where for me at least, I had to kind of take my lumps and figure kind of things out on my own. Like I actually didn't really have a technical mentor. I probably should have found one, someone who could kind of make me feel a little better about myself, a little more confident in myself and the things that I was learning, things that I was doing. I'm gonna die again. So that I wouldn't feel that way. I spent time. I used to work at a video game company where in the end we got a guy who we got a new manager. It was great. It was great up until then. We got a new manager who was real weird. It made you feel real crappy about random stuff. It contributed to a lot of this. It was like, man, I want to leave here, but obviously since my manager is talking to me this way, I'm not really, am I good enough for anywhere else? Am I ready to go be an engineer somewhere else? Actually, let me lower the resolution for this. I've had a lot of tough spots. I've had a job, where I walked out, because I would of the way the manager would yell at us. I was waiting for clearance basically, so I actually couldn't touch any systems, and I would actually get yelled at. He would yell at the entire team. And I talked to him one-on-one early on. I was like, hey, we are, and I was relatively young at the time. I was maybe 24 or 25 at the time. I'm actually not that much older now, but basically, I was like, hey, I understand what you're trying to do. I understand that there are tight deadlines. There are things we need to, we need to achieve contractually. But I'm going to need you to talk to me like a human being. And I don't know how you've been dealing, your team, you have this culture on your team, of what you've been doing, but I'm really not going to be a part of that. And, I talked to him and he seemed cool with it. He was like, yeah, I certainly understand, I'm sorry if, it seems crazy the way that we kind of interact now, but, I understand that. Thanks for telling me. And then he kind of popped off on me again, off of something that, it was for show. I could tell it was for show. It was for a system, again, that I did not have access to, but it was in front of the client, and it was, showing, it was a kind of a show of power, like, hey, I got him under control, don't worry about it. Had another talk with him after that, and then he did it again. And I had actually, it was bad enough to where I actually had to leave, immediately and tell him, basically I told him, hey, you talk to me like that, I'm walking out the door right now because I'm going to hit you, I'm going to punch you, and I want to keep my job and I don't want to be charged for anything, so I'm going to leave now, and I'll see you later. And I decided never to come back. Because I really, it was super toxic, and I never ever want to feel that way again. And I think that's from conversations I've had with other people. That's something that happens. I'm not alone in that, and I think that happens in other industries. But that was the first time I had experienced it. So it was super odd to me. And I think that there is a fair amount of toxicity in the tech industry. Again, this is not industry specific. A lot of industries have toxic people, toxic managers, things like that. I would say that the tech industry is kind of more accepting of people, of different types of people. So I think as we're in a PC culture, which is great for the employee. People can't just say or do whatever they want to you, which is nice and really helps your day to day. It really helps you, come into your own, and kind of become confident in yourself, especially if you're not already. And again, I'm somebody who's pretty strong-willed and has always been pretty confident in myself and things that I do. I've achieved a lot of success in things other than tech. So I've never not been confident in myself, and I've had people really make me feel useless. In my time in the industry, but again. That has been a small part of that's been a small part of my experience personally. I know everyone's experience is a lot different. I think I've talked to some people who've worked at places that weren't necessarily tech companies. I think working at places who are tech focused helps a ton, because usually at companies who aren't tech focused, the tech people are kind of the pariahs, kind of outcasts, the weirdos, a lot of the times. And that can be bad for one. But all the tech companies that I worked at have been phenomenal, actually. Have treated me very well. The people I worked with were great. I think they were people just like me, just looking to get better, and looking to interface and work with other people who are trying to be good, regardless of level. And I also noticed that even if you try, even if you're bad, even if you're not very good, I work with people, and I think I've been the victim. I think I've been the victim of getting kind of the imposter syndrome thing, but getting accepted to a job that I wasn't quite qualified for, but they were willing to let me get up to speed. And I spent the first, couple months, trying to get good. And I would work with people, and in the beginning, I think I would be afraid to, because I knew I wasn't, or I felt I wasn't up to speed. I wouldn't ask for help, and I wouldn't ask questions because I was scared they're gonna to out myself, to be like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And that was one of the biggest mistakes. I've spent months in exile trying to figure something out when I could have just asked someone and they could have given me a full explanation of everything that I was doing, and it would have been that easy. Let me see if I can. No. This is very difficult. Very, very difficult. So ask questions. Don't let yourself fall into that trap. That's one of the that's one of the weirdest things I've noticed. And again, hindsight is 2020. It's not until I've become more senior of an engineer that I've kind of realized that I would have been so much farther along right now if. Even now, if I just asked questions, if I've been willing to talk to people around me, and not be scared that I'm going to get fired. I don't know. I don't know who taught us to be afraid of asking questions. I think it's natural since so many people do it. But yeah, but yeah. Nowadays, you touch people exactly, man. I'm glad I had the wherewithal to not. I'll never forget that guy. I know his name. I remember the exact moment. And what's funny about that is I actually left the job. It was I think it was a Thursday or a Friday. I think it was Thursday. And I walked out the door. I told him that. I walked out the door. He started calling me. He called me 8 times. I did not answer any of them. And I took the train to the auto show, and I was not in a position to quit my job. I really wasn't in a position to quit my job. Luckily, it was before I got married. So, even though I was with my current wife at the time, I didn't really need to. Our expenses weren't together and things like that, so it was fine. Man, I'll never forget that guy. But I was not in a position to quit my job, and I did because of that. I quit my job, and I know so many people aren't willing to do that, and don't ever think I'm saying, hey, quit your job to take some crap from somebody until you find a new one, because again, that kind of environment, that kind of toxicity, it can ruin you. It really can. It creates so much malice. I feel like I hated people so much for a while. I was so scared to work with anyone. It was bad. But again, watch out for stuff like that. If I was smarter, I would have seen all that in the interview process. At the time, I was really just chasing money, to be honest. And I should have known during my interview. They didn't interview me difficult at all, hard at all. They didn't ask me any good questions. They asked me some basic questions. It seemed like I was just a seat filler, basically. They just needed, they had a contract, and they needed someone to just fill that position because they were being paid for it. And I was treated accordingly. I didn't know anybody there. And I don't think I was there for 7 months. And I didn't have a talking buddy. I didn't have a work friend. I didn't have anything like that. Which really sucks. It's not a good feeling. And I think right after, well, maybe not right after, 2 jobs after that, I think my next job after that was really great. I actually worked at the Better Business Bureau, which is actually not a government agency. A lot of people think that's a government agency. This was a government contracting position. I won't say it was with, but it was a government contracting position. It wasn't. I was getting a clearance, but this wasn't like Department of Defense or anything like that. But yeah, it was a government contractor job. I think I was doing it was for like Linux administration, I believe. I've also worked at a bunch of amazing places. So again, that video game company I worked at was actually, minus the manager at the end. It was actually really fun. It was actually really good. I learned a lot, met a lot. I actually have like lifelong friends from there, which is pretty cool. Shout out to Antoine. I worked at 2 different hosting companies, web hosting companies. I worked for the government. I've worked at a few different government contractors. I've worked at, where else did I work? I worked for the Better Business Bureau, which is actually a nonprofit and not actually a government agency like a lot of people think it is. I've worked, a lot of contractors. I feel like there's a few in there that I'm missing. Hosting companies. I'm trying to start my own business like 3 or 4 times. And then right now I'm in the process again. I'm actually in a business cohort to kind of learn all of the things that I've been doing wrong. And most of my stuff I'm not gonna announce it yet, but a lot of my business ideas stem around technical learning, technical training, and things like that. But yeah, definitely ask your question. Does indie game developer suck as a career? So, that's an excellent question. So, again, having worked at a game development company, I actually think an indie developer might be the way to go, actually. So, a lot of people don't know how, not glamorous being a game dev is. You are under such extreme deadlines and timelines, and it's really bad, actually. It's a really terrible thing to be a part of. But wait, what am I doing here? But indie games, because you're working on your projects. You're working on smaller projects. You're not run by a big game studio who's basically making games just for money. You have a lot more granularity and control over the things that you're doing, things that you're working on. Let me see if I can keep these people alive real quick. That was bad. I messed that up real bad. That worked though. Being an indie game developer is probably grueling. It's probably not as stable. Indie games probably don't make quite as much money. You never know what's going to happen with your game. I think the studios are a little more volatile. But I actually think I do think it's a good career. I think we've gotten to the point in time where technology is so good. It's something that anybody can do. Being an indie game developer, that could be just you in your house working on the games and the projects that you want to work on. And you can make a lot of money doing that. You make one right. You just need one decent game that catches people's attention, and people will, they'll ride with you. You make one decent thing that they can get behind. They'll support you after that. As long as you keep putting out quality products. But again, without the same monetary backing as some of the bigger game studios and things like that, your income, your money is going to be a little more volatile. It is something to keep into account. I've done terrible in all these, so I'll play one-on-one. This is so advice to be a game dev. Obviously, one, get good at game development. I think so. The computer science concepts, the coding concepts that you might learn as a web developer, anything else, anything you might learn, those all do apply to game development. But there's a lot in that industry that is very specific. Your different engines and things like that that you definitely want to take into account, that you want to learn, that you want to get good at. I don't know. It's I guess becoming like a game developer is similar to becoming any other kind of developer. Is afraid to fail. So if you were to fail, what happens then? Are you afraid to fail at becoming a game developer? Or are you afraid to fail at making a game that people will like? The good thing is nowadays you can do this. Like if you have you're messaging me, so you could be either it could be on a phone or on a computer. I assume you have a computer, and once you have a computer and access to the internet, you can really do whatever you want with a very small amount of I guess like what happens if you fail? Like there's the consequences are relatively small. You don't a lot of the stuff you just have to put in your time and to get good. So I'd say maybe start your career at a game developer, see how kind of things are done. Maybe try one of the big guys, maybe try Bethesda or EA or something, and see if you can get some insight on how it's done, or see if you can get in with an indie game developer. But make a game that people will like. You gotta keep trying. It's just like anything else. You spend time, no one likes it. Yeah, it sucks that you spent so much time building it, but at the end of the day, it was probably a good learning experience. Even a failure is a great learning experience, and I would just take that and keep going until you can find something that people like. Watch the markets, watch the trends, what people like. Take your ideas, see how you can apply human I guess tendencies and human desires, and find out what people like, and apply that to your stuff. I think you guys can hear the people sound, so I'm sorry about that. So I don't want to be held accountable for what these people are saying here, but yeah. I'm burnt out lately, seeing developers, especially on Twitch, we're getting burnt out. Yeah, it's burnout it's such a big problem. And that's one of the things that sucks for me right now is, again, I'm trying to start a business. Absolutely, definitely go ahead, Omar, and ask another question. Ask as many questions as you want. But I'm trying to start a business right now, and it will have an application piece of it. It's not just an app, but it will have an application piece. And I've been working on it, and I code at work, and then I've got to come home and try to muster up enough energy and enough desire to spend my time doing that, and being able to wake up in the morning and not feel like I spent all night working on the same thing is very difficult. The one good thing is that I'm not a web developer in my day job. I do some web development, but I'm not a web developer, and so this web development that I'm doing now, my spare time helps. But again, find those things that you love. Like all I'm doing right now, and I think my wife hates it, is I'm diving harder into the driving in the cars. Like I'm big into cars and motorsports. I'm diving harder into that. I'm going for more drives. I'm looking like I'm working things. I want to do more track days. I want to do more performance driving. I want to start competing, things like that. So as I started going deeper into more coding and more work, I've also dived deeper into more play, which has helped. Honestly, Jesse, like the reason I'm playing this game right now and not coding like we usually do on Mondays, and talking about this is because it was a good break so that I can not feel burnt out. I actually I'm doing like a keynote talk or something for some high schoolers on Wednesday. I got to go write a speech for that, and I got to do some more stuff for my site and for my business. So managing those things, I have no problem taking, even if it means I have to stay up later, I have no problem taking extra time for myself to unwind, to do the other things that I need to do, so that I won't get burned out, or so at least I can slow it down. I have gotten good over the years now of recognizing that I'm being burnt out, and being able to do something about it very quickly. Again, it happens. You will get burned out, but you can stop it before it gets too bad, or you can do things to mitigate it before it gets too bad. And you can back off, and I may take a week where I don't learn anything. I don't take time to learn anything. I don't take any time to get better at anything. I don't take time to do all this extra stuff that I want to do. I kind of just relax a little bit and do some of the things that I wanted to do, that I've been wanting to do, and it helps a lot. And I have I'm not. Some people, are afraid to take those periods. Some people are afraid to, like, not afraid, but just always feel like they need to do this or that right now. It's all right. Take a week. Take a week. Get yourself together. Get your mind right. Reset yourself a little bit. You got to find your way to reset and recharge. Again, I said almost every Saturday morning. I wake up early actually, and I go for a drive through the back roads. That's what I like to do. And every time I do it, it resets me. I always feel great. Like every time I get home, I'm like, yeah, I could work all day now if I wanted to. But you got to find that thing for you. All that is a PC. But so I work for my family and I'm carrying myself. Yeah. Fundraising for a laptop. So, I don't know what country or if you're in America, what state you're in, but I would say, Omar, you should find a way to just get like Craigslist. All you need nowadays, go on Craigslist, get yourself a Chromebook. I'm 100% sure. Well, here in the U.S., I can find a Chromebook on Craigslist right now for about $50. I would see if you can find a way to get $50 to $100. Get a Chromebook. You can hop on and do everything online. You can just find some free Wi-Fi somewhere, McDonald's or wherever. Africa. I don't know what. Actually, that's pretty cool. What part of Africa are you in? But yeah, I mean, GoFundMe is probably a decent option as well. But yeah, reach out. Actually, I'm gonna post my LinkedIn in a little bit. Shoot me a message. I may be able to figure something out. Maybe to find something for you. For a laptop. But that's kind of all you need. All you need is something with a web browser, and you can kind of do it. Just keeping a max of 3 hours a day prevent you burning out. What exactly hours of work a day? Yeah, that's actually a good idea. 3 hours of work a day. So, Jesse, do you do 3 hours of work at work, or do you 3 hours of work in addition to your normal job? If you have a normal job, because I usually limit myself. I usually try to limit myself to about that. Man, everyone keeps picking the people I want. I don't think I've gotten to kill this whole feed. It's really hard to aim and talk. Yeah, I work 15 to 25 hours a week. Right now, that's what it is. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Because I be 100% honest. Like I said, people are always like, oh, like, you have a successful tech career going, why are you trying to start a business and things like that? It's like, yeah, I love tech. I love the opportunities it can provide for people. But I think long term, I would like to take, pay off everything, get debt free, using the money I can make from, a tech job. But then ultimately, I would like to, freelance or do something, have my own business where I could do less work or, be less under pressure. And, starting your own business isn't always going to be that. But, yeah, I would love to freelance less hours. I don't need to be rich. I don't need to be rich or anything. There we go. Got a kill there. But yeah, I like that working 3 hours thing. Transition to an IT career. I want to start a little system admin. Should I go after certifications? Okay, so this is where I'll shine. This is where I have the most information for you. So my career started as a system admin. I do have a way you can contact me. I'll post my LinkedIn in a second. That's probably the best way. But if you want to get into Linux systems administration, you don't need a certification. But this is one of the few times I will recommend a certification. I think it's the LPIC. And just if you don't have someone showing you exactly what to learn, I think it's the LPIC one, the LPIC one, is a good one to hop into because it'll cover all of those Linux things. You should. The Linux stuff is important. Like, learning Linux is important to be a Linux systems administrator. But I actually think the bigger piece of a Linux sysadmin is being a systems administrator. I I don't think you should go for any specific certifications, but I do think you should take some time to learn how to administer systems. And usually that means, find a way to spin up some servers, find a way to learn how the internet works and how to host applications on a server, and things like that, because those are the things that you'll be doing. You'll just be using Linux to do those things. I started out as a Linux sysadmin, and when I worked at a place where I needed to know some Linux systems administration, it was pretty easy to do because I knew the concepts of what you needed to know as a systems administrator. I knew how systems worked. I knew how things fit together, and so that was pretty valuable for me. The LPIC one, and then in today's market, I'd actually, if you want to be a Linux systems admin, I will go get some kind of cloud certification as well. Maybe either AWS or Azure. I wouldn't really fool around with GPC certs. Most people want Azure or AWS, but I think that would help bolster your knowledge and help you better be able to get a job, make you more marketable. But for the Linux admin stuff, get yourself, if you have a computer that's powerful enough, install a VM. If not, hop on DigitalOcean or Amazon and get yourself a little VM and practice. Just do stuff, practice installing stuff, practice setting stuff up. I don't know, just Google random Linux things and try them out. And half of it is just getting comfortable with the commands, getting comfortable in the command line, which is surprisingly simple. And then it's just practicing. But yeah, definitely that can be good, not really necessary to be a successful sysadmin. Let me post my LinkedIn. Actually, does this work? Can I do that? Is that one of the commands? Nope, that didn't work. I need to set that up, but I don't know. It's just LinkedIn, or was it? What's LinkedIn? Is LinkedIn link.in? I don't know. Whatever it is /mastermind.io. So hop on LinkedIn and unrecognized command. All right. Can I? It's just that. Actually, I can go to LinkedIn and just paste it in here. So reach out to me on there, Omar. We'll talk about it. So probably go way to improve stuff, Yeah. And the weird thing about certs is, I think a lot of people who have never, who are just getting into the industry, who spend some time getting certs first, think it's frustrating to them to realize once they get in that the things that they learned are pertinent to things that they're doing, but they don't necessarily know how to do their job once they get there, and that can be one of the most frustrating things. So studying I think the problem more so is that studying for certification is different from kind of learning and studying how to accomplish tasks that you're going to be doing on your job. And again, a lot of that comes from experience, those troubleshooting skills, those intangibles really are tough to grasp. That was boring. Let's try this again. God. Yeah, I mean, Terraform's great. We're gonna do a whole thing on Terraform. But yeah, whatever it is, whatever topic, whatever thing in the industry you're trying to do, just spend some time to try it. You can do just about everything for free nowadays. You don't need, there's documentation. Get comfortable, reading documentation. Get comfortable, reading stuff on Google. Get comfortable reading Stack Overflow, and you'll get good. Honestly, that was, I would say, when the moment I switched from maybe mid-level to mid-senior, or even like a junior mid to kind of mid-senior, was when I really understood how to parse documentation, really parse Stack Overflow, to be honest. But I appreciate that. Yeah, if anyone does have any Amazon Prime subscriptions available, feel free to subscribe. That would be great. But no biggie. I do this just for fun, to help out as many people as I can. So yeah, if anyone actually has any topics or things that they ever want to discuss, get the skill, yes. that they ever want to discuss or talk about, let me know. I'd be happy to talk about it. I'm always looking for things to talk about with people, especially if I've had experience with it. If not, we can spend some time on here, like learning together on how to do things. I actually want to do a series kind of going over learning a technology that I don't know, so that maybe people can see how like the process I go through to learn it. I watch a lot of videos, read documentation on stuff when I want to learn it. Maybe it'll be fun to kind of go through and learn a bunch of stuff with everyone else. But yeah, Rancher 2, Rancher's definitely coming. It's coming. Just haven't had time yet. We're gonna have to get to Kubernetes first though, which we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there eventually. That's the key. I want to get there right now, but I also want to avoid the burnout that we've been talking about. Another important thing to remember is that certs, they can be expensive. Certs can be very expensive. Yes. Do your best to, if you're someone who's, it's kind of hard when you're first trying to get in. If you've already had a job, or if you're in a position right now, even if you're not in a technical position at a technical company, a lot of companies offer professional development, budgets, or would be willing to pay for you to get your cert, or to help you in some way get your certifications, because it does make you more valuable to a company, and a lot of companies are willing to do that. Red Hat certs are good if you are trying to get. Yes, Red Hat certs are good. I think the Red Hat. I think the RHC. The RH CSA? I think it's going to be. I think it's one that may be a little overwhelming if you're really first starting out. I think it's one that would be better taken after you've already been working with Linux for a bit. But they are good certs to get for sure. Yeah, hey, we could definitely bootstrap Rancher over Discord for sure. Yeah, we could definitely find some time to do that. That would be cool. Yeah, the RCSA is tough. So Red Hat. If anyone doesn't know, I think we went over it in one of my one of my things. But yeah, the black hat versus white hat thing. But actually, that's a good question. I wonder if that was part of their nomenclature, figuring out the red hat means something very specific to them. But yeah, if you can get it, it's good. But it's gonna be tough. He's definitely trolling, and I don't know if he's trolling. I actually think it was a pretty decent joke. Oh man. All right, I'm gonna spend 1 minute trying to get kills here. Let's see. I used to be great at this game. Now not so much. I'm gonna kill this person. Here I go. Alright, come on. Alright, there we go. Finally did something okay, even though I didn't get any kills. I do have gold eliminations because I'm the best who's ever played this game, for sure. Well, I used to be. And it used to be so fun, but I put way too many hours in here, so I stopped playing so I could get stuff done. Stupid. SAS might be more than 3 hours a day when live, though. So I got SAS like CSS SAS. Thank you for the subscription. I appreciate that. I'm about to kill everybody in this room for that. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. I'm on fire now. Oh, software service. Yeah. I really appreciate that. Oh yeah, software service. Okay, I was like, I'm not sure what you're talking about here. You talking about SAS for Rancher? What were we talking? I missed all that. I was too busy getting being the GOAT and getting all the kills, and I missed whatever was going on in the chat. Let's see here. Oh yeah. No. I know what software. I know what SaaS is. I thought we were talking about a specific SaaS product. Oh, come on. All right, there we go. I finally did good. Oh man, I'm hot. What time is it? 8:38. I'll probably. We'll see how this game goes. Might be done after this. But yeah, is anybody working on anything cool right now? What I guess what shout out? What are people learning right now? What if you're just starting out, what languages are you learning? What technologies are people learning right now? Yeah, or what are people interested in learning? Cool, thanks. Cool, yeah, Python. I love Python. I actually wish I could do more Python. I haven't. I was doing I had to do a quick Python app not that long ago, and I realized how long it's been and how much I've lost from Python just because I was spending a lot of time trying to learn Go. I'm trying to get really good at Go. So I lost a lot of my Python chops. But I'll pick it back up. Python's it's easy enough. I just felt like a noob having to look up everything. I look up a lot of syntax and stuff that I just kind of forgot about. Come on. Got me. Yeah, Linux with CentOS VM. Definitely, CentOS is definitely probably the best to learn, to become a Linux admin. That's what most, I guess, corporations are running. Take some time to learn Ubuntu and kind of the differences between those two. I don't really see people use more than CentOS or Ubuntu, to be honest. As far as enterprise servers go, you may get an OpenSUSE server here or there, but I highly doubt that. Let's see if I can get a kill here. I'm not good with Genji at all. Record burnout time. Come on. I'm not good with Genji. He's definitely my worst player. What would you do? What would you do the online coding courses and workshops in? JavaScript's pretty hot right now. I fought learning JavaScript forever. But the project that I work on is Node React based. And as the time came for me to do more than just being the DevOps person, I've had to, learn a lot more JavaScript. But it's cool. I like the asynchronicity of it. I like the asynchronous paradigm of JavaScript. Let's see, let me back off real quick. I don't want to die. Where's everyone cool? Yeah, JavaScript. Yeah. Regexes, man. Oh man. Thank you for saying that. First off, I need to take I need you to give me a regex course. I've been doing regexes for forever, and I would say for how long I've been doing them, I suck. But I mean, I'm solid. I can almost always figure it out. I can pretty much always figure it out. Takes me a while. It takes me a lot longer than I should. But absolutely, regex is regular expression. For anyone who doesn't know what regular expressions are, it's a way to match text patterns. It's using text expressions to be able to match patterns. With text. and it can be very difficult to find the ones or to create the regex that's going to work for you. We should absolutely do a regex stream, but I'm afraid that people will ask me questions that I don't know the answers to on that stream. Even though I'm okay with that, I really don't care. We can Google it, we can figure it out together. But yeah, it's regular expressions is tough. But yeah, JavaScript is cool as well. So I've been using desktop. Oh, Instant God Squad. You said you've been using Linux desktop for years. What really like on your own personal computer? Now I'm asking that as a huge Linux desktop fan. And not a lot of people use Linux desktop, but I love it. I love customizing it. I just don't like all of the work that you sometimes have to do to get it to run, or to get things to run. I really gave it my all, but then I tried to, once I started streaming, it kept crashing on me. I've done it for years. I've gone back to Linux a million times for years. I decided just to buy a System 76 laptop, which is like a boutique Linux laptop maker, and they make all their own firmware and stuff for Linux laptops, all their own drivers, so it works on their stuff. So it's cool. I use that that's my daily driver laptop. That's what I use when I'm doing work and stuff. But I have to run Windows 1 for games, but there's a few other programs that I just, as big of an open source software advocate I am, there's some things I just can't live without yet. One day I'll be able to work towards it. But yeah. How do you like Deepin? I used Deepin for a little while. That's probably the one I've used the most, though. I like that. Book I did. Anyone can program computers as well. That's awesome. That book, you should start a Jesse. You should start a Kickstarter for that book, man. I would donate to that. That's an awesome idea. I think a lot of people. I know so many people who could benefit from that too. I'll get you I could probably get you 20 people to buy it. Immediately. Definitely take your time to make that. It's pretty cool. Let me see here. Alright, let me see if I can be valuable to my team here. Man, this is the most gaming I've done in a long time. And therefore why this was a good thing to do to combat burnout. But in this game, I might have a little bit of imposter syndrome because I thought I was really good, but obviously I'm not good if I'm talking to people. It's really hard to concentrate. And maybe I'll practice this a lot so that I can be good at any time. I have a new respect for people who are actually good when they are streaming, because I suck. Yep, I did the exact same thing to my dad's computer. For a while, I had installed Ubuntu, and it was perfect for him because he could just click on the Chrome icon, because all I did was watch YouTube. But now we're in the day and age of the phone, and he knows how to use. I got him a Pixel. I think it's a Pixel 2 now, and all he does is use that for everything. I made them get rid of Xfinity, and so he could get YouTube TV. So now he knows how to do everything from his phone. That's pretty cool. All right. Maybe we can post the personal blog. That's cool. Yeah, if anyone has if anyone starts a personal blog or has a personal blog that you want to shout out, feel free to post it in the comment section. I think I removed the Nightbot from Nightbot should no longer block you from doing that. Feel free to promote your stuff. I don't care. It's all good. I'd love to read people's blogs if you have them. Medium's cool though. It's also weird. I'm standing right now. If you couldn't tell, I've actually never gamed standing up before in my whole life, so this is a very interesting experience, to be honest. But I like live streaming while standing. I don't know. It just feels better. I found that I feel a little more natural talking to the camera, talking to you guys when I am standing. It's really weird. And we're dead. Actually, I have not died yet. I need my team. Let's go ahead. Oh no! I got the Pixel. I got the Pixel off of eBay for super cheap. Actually, I don't really buy any of my phones firsthand anymore because phone prices have gotten out of control. But I will stick with Pixel until someone else comes out with automatic call screening. I like that is the best feature to ever come out on a phone ever. So until someone else comes out with that, if someone knows of another brand maker or carrier that has that, I will absolutely 100% be willing to switch. Until that, I can't. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good on the Apple front. I don't see myself going to Apple anytime soon or ever. I tried the iPhone with the iPhone 5S, I believe. I decided to switch. Always been an Android guy since the G1. But two things sucked about that. At that time, I had Sprint, and Sprint was awful on the iPhone. And I read a bunch of forums and stuff, and they were like, "Yeah, Sprint kind of sucks at the iPhone. If you get an Android, it has better capacity for it." And I got an Android, and instantly my speeds like quadrupled. My download speeds quadrupled. That was pretty cool, but yeah, I mean, I'm not anti-Apple. I am anti anyone who will get Apple products without knowing what they're buying, because that's most people I know. Most people I know who tell me Apple products are better, like MacBooks and stuff, are people who all they do is surf Facebook. It's like you bought a $1,200 computer to surf Facebook. I can't respect your decision for that. It's ridiculous. It's jewelry. Their stuff's jewelry. Doesn't mean it's a bad product. It's not a bad product. I just think it's a luxury product for sure. I'd much rather. I'm actually a huge ThinkPad fan, so I just buy old ThinkPads and I put Linux on them and I have fun with that. But honestly, though, now and I'm not endorsed by them or anything, but I'm telling you, that System 76 company, you pay a premium a little bit for that, but like you get pretty great service. And again, they do their own. They have an in-house team that does their own firmware, their own drivers, so stuff like always works. It's pretty nice. I'm gonna kill this person. Alright, I'm not doing well. You're gonna die. There we go. Bye-bye. Basically, it is basically Darwinism. A lot of our team has the brand new Apple MacBook with the little short butterfly keyboard. The keyboards, like, they stick all the time, and people have had to get like new ones a bunch of times. It's like, man, if I pay $2,300 for a laptop, $2,300 to $2,800 or more, I'm gonna be furious if the main thing I need, which is the keyboard, if that breaks. and I gotta get it fixed. I mean, they'll give you a new one, but like, I don't know why they just don't. I don't know. They need to do something about that. But again, that's why I'll probably always be a ThinkPad fan. Once I used to think they were ugly, and then I got an X1 Carbon off of Craigslist, and it was amazing. And ever since then, I thought they were beautiful. And they take a beating. I'm not good with my electronics. I definitely drop them. I definitely I'm not nice with them. That's why MacBooks aren't for me. But again, good products. I might get a Mac Mini for some things some projects I want to work on. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. No. Drop this. There we go. I'm not fragging noobs. I'm trying to, but I played. I did Mystery Heroes, and I'm getting a bunch of people I'm not good with. I'm alright with Reinhardt, so let's see what happens here. Alright, I'm gonna focus for. I'm gonna focus for a bit. Let's see if I can get some kills here. Come on. I just used mine. Well, there we go. I'm obviously not. Yeah. It is the left mouse button to shoot. But I was Reinhardt and I didn't have a gun. And I don't have a gun now either, so I can't shoot. But I can swing. What is this? How are we doing? This is what sucks about the random thing. I just always get everyone who I like. I like to play it because it's like fun practicing with people. There we go. There we go. I like to practice with people who I don't usually play, but I usually get a string of sucky people. Like now. That hurt. That was bad. Yikes. So I actually watched a whole 2-hour video of this guy trying to use eye tracking effectively to play his games, and it was miserable. And maybe once it gets a little bit better, was it Toby or whatever? I would try it out. One reason I love this because you can buy a super cheap. No, 100%. There are this, you can install Arch, with only the only packages that you need, only packages you want. It definitely rejuvenating for older systems. That's usually my go-to for people. People always ask me yo, what do you what machine should I get? Should I get a MacBook? Should I get this thing? I'm like, look, man, if you don't even know if you're serious about this yet, I recommend getting yourself a cheap laptop. Get something installed on it so that you can learn some stuff. And then and go from there. Again, if people are willing to, hop on Cloud9 or Amazon's Cloud9 IDE, if they're willing to, it's free, but if they're willing to put in their credit card for that, or pay a very small amount, I'm like, man, just get a Chromebook. Our solutions architect actually switched completely to Chromebook because we use Amazon for everything, and he can do everything through Cloud9, which is pretty cool. He did get the fancy Chromebook. He's got the Chromebook Pixel, but it works. Let's see what I got here. Cool. Yeah. So, unfortunately, since I do have to. I'll tell you guys about that speech that I'm giving, or not speech, that the keynote talk that I'm giving on Wednesday. I gotta go actually write my. I didn't realize April 10th was in 2 days, and I have nothing created, so I'm actually gonna sign off in a bit and write that. But I know I've been saying it for weeks. I know I've been saying it for weeks, but I actually this Wednesday, 2 days from now, after I do my little speech, I'll be raffling off this Amazon Echo Dot that I got from Amazon for an event that I went to. Yeah, if you are all you gotta do to get it is be a follower. If you are a subscriber, you will get 5 votes. You get 5 additional votes, or 5 additional entries. And I will be using Nightbot to raffle it off on Wednesday. You do not need to be present to win at all, but yeah, but I will be doing that. Like I said, I know I've been saying it for weeks. I will actually get rid of it now. I don't really need it. So if I can have it, has never been opened. I was actually gonna open it up to do a stream on creating an Alexa skill. Maybe do like a little chatbot or something. But I actually have an older version that I can use for that. Figure someone would prefer to use that. That's all I would use it for. We're a Google Home household over here. But yeah. Thanks for everyone joining in. This was fun for me. I might try to, again, I said I would try to do some of this on like Fridays, like wind down and just talk about what I learned throughout the week and just do some Q&A, just talk around, just talk to people back and forth, answer some questions. But this was harder than I thought, so I may do it for some practice on Fridays or whatever. But yeah, don't get take those precautions to not get burned out. Definitely take those precautions to recognize any imposter syndrome you may be starting to feel, and to do your best to mitigate that. Talk to some people on your team. Talk to some people you may feel that are better than you at your job, and help them encourage you, and give you some reassurance that you deserve to be there. And Dunning-Kruger, just know when you are learning something, don't get way too excited too early. Be conscious of, is it still up? Be conscious of the amount that you the amount that you have to still learn. So don't fall into this trap down here. Make sure you can make sure your confidence kind of goes up with your experience. You want the line to be linear or close to linear. So yeah, keep all that in mind. Everybody had a good night. Have a good night. Thanks for joining in. I will see you on Wednesday.